Andrew Luck just up and retired over the weekend. John Henry, which athlete would you like to force into early retirement if you could?
The prima donna of them all, Odell Beckham.
Ooh, not bad. Gil Liberton?
If it was one sports person, I'd definitely say Nick Saban, but athlete, got to go with Justin Verlander.
Why do you hate him?
He's too good.
He's too good. I was going to go with Rugnet Odor, and he could take his accessories with him. But
actually, guys,
Millennial Ziggy wants to chime in or butt in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have any athletes, but I have about 5 or 6 owners that I'd like to see go.
Yeah. I hear you. PressBox DFW Live. It is Richie Witt, your host, along with two venerable Metroplex sports writers, Gil Liberton, John Henry. And I got a comment last week, why do you always wear a smoking cardigan on the show? Because it's freezing in here, that's why. And it has my nice logo.
It's cold in here.
It's always
logo.
cold.
He's
in
wearing
here.
swag.
Reminds me of Fred Sanford.
He's wearing
His
swag.
smoke.
It's either Fred Sanford or swag. Season 2, episode 12, as we start college football this weekend, and we're getting pretty close to Dallas Cowboys. We're going to be joined today by Matt Mosley.
Who?
Matt Mosley. Let me see. Go to PressBoxDFW.com. You can see some of his fine writing.
We love Matt.
Yeah, he moonlights as a columnist at our website, and sometimes he joins us to give his unique perspective on sports. While we wait for Matt.
I'll be right back. I'm going to be right out here for a little bit.
Okay, he's going to be right out here for a little bit. Matt Mosley.
Yo.
Yo, how are you, sir?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Are we on the air?
What a casual greeting. Yo. Yes, we're live on the air. You're on the PressBox Live vodcast. How you doing?
Oh my gosh. I'm nervous is what I am.
Sounds like you're accepting an Oscar right now. You're just on our little vodcast, so just take deep breaths.
Okay. All right. This is a much listened to deal, and for lack of a better term, I just wrapped up some live radio. This is the kind of radio I like. I finish it up at this meat market kind of grocery store place, and it is a really neat place in Waco. And somebody just walks over and hands me a big envelope. I'm like, oh, what's this? And he's like, I think it's got a bunch of cash inside. I just walked over and handed me a bunch of cash. I'm like, God, I need to come down here more often.
Now, is there a punchline to this story? Was it really cash?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if this is legal. I probably shouldn't be saying it.
Email us that address.
It sounds
email that address
like
to
some
us.
payolas going on down in Waco.
Sounds like a Dave Bliss story.
No, we've got a relationship with this place. This is a big-time Waco custom marketplace. Meat sweets. They had all kind of jalapeno sausage, kolaches, and all this stuff. But, the great part, though, the best part, I just looked at the envelope.
Yeah.
What do you think it says on the front? What do you think? I mean, a guy, just this is just an enormous personality in Central Texas, the Hill Country, on down to Austin. I mean, Richie, you would be the first to acknowledge. Big time personality in this part of the country.
Then the envelope says,
maybe not in Dallas, but
the envelope.
What do you think they?
Never mind.
Is that a rhetorical question, or can we guess? Actually, I think it says
you asked a question.
I think it says enjoy sincerely, Dave Bliss.
No, it says free Art Briles.
Oh, yeah.
My gosh, y'all are firing off Baylor scandal jokes. I cannot get you guys to be serious.
Okay. All right. Mr. Serious.
And y'all are just interrupting like crazy. Why don't y'all have me on site sometime rather than trying to do it by phone?
I think you can answer that question.
Are we really on? Or people
We're
started.
This is not a shoot around or a walkthrough. This is real. Let's go. Put your game face on.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Well, how's Baylor looking?
I think
The notes and stuff. In fact, I'm going to take you guys to. I'm going to go hands free. I'm going to see if I can take you guys hands free. That's the kind of talking I want to do. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, cool. This is the
Comma,
okay. This is great.
unfortunately.
So anyway, they just went. No, this is going to sound better. You're going to like this. They literally handed me an envelope. I think there's cash in here,
Okay.
and it's on the outside. I've had this happen to me all my life. What do you think they called me?
Randy Galloway.
No, Mark Mosley, the Redskins kicker.
The clutch kicker.
Straight on kicker.
Just a humbling moment. I was really feeling good about things down here.
They could call
And
me
then
Mark
they handed
Mosley if
me-
I just get handed random envelope money. Hey, all right, seriously, give your radio show a plug. You're down in Waco. It's ESPN Central Texas Fireside Chat or something. What is it?
Yeah, I appreciate the plug.
Well, I don't know
there.
the name. I'm
just-
giving you a plug. Go
give
ahead.
me the dismissive. Okay. It's ESPN
Yes.
Central Texas,
Yes.
Waco, and Austin, and even goes down to College Station.
Mm-hmm.
And this flamethrower of a signal even goes to Corsicana. What did y'all used to call when you were on that other station, Richie? Y'all call it the flamethrower. You remember that?
It
'Cause
was
y'all
not
had that
me,
big
but yeah, somebody
signal.
did.
Yeah, and
The blowtorch.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it was,
Randy called it the blowtorch.
Yeah, that's right. All right, and when is
Yeah.
your show on? Are you daily 10 to noonish?
10 to noon, kind of like Norm's old hours.
Perfect.
This, Richie, is what we should have been doing our entire lives. I did 3 or 4 hours for a lot of years. You did like some kind of insane, like 5 hours.
Exactly.
And you did it with a guy you never knew. You know what? Well, I'm not going to go there.
That's
but
a
I'm just
whole
saying.
nother. That's a whole nother show, Mosley.
I'm just saying, but 2 hours is the perfect amount of time for a guy like me who has no attention span.
No.
It is so perfect.
All right,
2
well-
hours because I can the first segment I'm just literally talking about whatever I did the night before. I mean, and it's always not as fun as you. You were always like, well, we went to some mansion out in the Heath and we had a pool party. Like none of my stories ever sound like that. I'm like,
No, they sure
we were at
don't.
the
None of your stories have commas either, or like periods. Matt Mosley joining us on PressBox DFW Live, the vodcast, as he tries to control his ADD and his car down in Waco. You've probably seen more Cowboys than us this year. You went out to training camp. You've been to a couple preseason games. Can we talk about the Zeke thing? And do you think Tony Pollard is a decent stand-in, or are we all being fooled?
Well, no, he is a decent stand-in, and I should be the first to apologize to the young Pollard. I just thought this was a total. And now they were playing games with Zeke. Some of that was just complete fabrication to act like, oh my gosh, this complete back. But he is good. I mean, he's fun to watch. He's been a lot better. I thought that was all kind of a setup, and part of it was. But then also part of it is he's pretty good. So, I mean, could they get past the Giants and the Redskins and some of these teams early in the season without Zeke? You bet. But now at some point, you got to have a guy who's going to over and over and over pound it up in there. He doesn't do that. We don't know if Pollard can do that. And that's just tough to send him into a season where he'd be the lead back. Alfred's a nice complimentary piece. Al Morris, I kind of like him. But again, you got to get Zeke in there. And as this thing gets closer, this thing becomes more and more interesting. Now, I suppose, Richie, your old buddies will be out there. I love how your longtime best buddy is out there trying to give new definitions of the word imminent. Wait, imminent can mean 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I mean, come on. We both know what imminent means. If you say imminent, you mean it's about to happen like that night or the next day.
I would
You
think
can't
imminent
expand
would be
it like 3
24
weeks.
hours or less. Yes.
Yeah. So you can't. I mean, again, I'll credit him, the guy I'm talking about, for trying to have his coworkers back. I know you would do that for me, Richie, but I'm just saying this, I mean, at some point you got to figure it out. Now, I guess Marshall Faulk's out there in Cabo working out with him or helping him. I mean, this thing has become kind of a circus.
Yeah, it's getting out of control.
As long as he's there 3 or 4 days before, you're probably okay. And quite honestly, I mean, look at what the Texans are. Did you really want Zeke Elliott out there getting 5-6 carries in a preseason game? No.
He had 0 preseason carries last year. That's not the thing. But having him take reps, be in shape, that was sort of important. But again, the real important thing is back in '93 when Emmett held out, his replacement was a guy from Alabama named Derek Lassick.
Right.
And he ran for like 112 yards in 2 games. Wasn't good enough. The question is Pollard going to be good enough? But we have a question from the audience here, apparently, who's just watching you today. His name is John Henry. Go ahead, Mr. Henry.
Mostly they. So after that impressive march on Saturday, people are saying this is a Super Bowl caliber defense. What do you think?
They're saying the Cowboys have a Super Bowl caliber defense.
Yes.
Okay. Man, I don't think I've written that for you guys, have I? I hope I haven't said that.
I think the local newspaper said that.
Yeah. Oh, they get all into it. My gosh, these guys, and they got all in that Maxim story. Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, Maxim, what an embarrassment! Acting like that's some kind of breaking news. Maxim, I didn't even know Maxim still existed. That's crazy. Where did this Maxim thing come from? Okay, but John, to answer your question about the Super Bowl defense, okay, I will say Jalen and Vander Esch kind of have something going on. There's a tandem there that kind of does remind me of like some of those old Steeler linebacker tandems that were going to Super Bowls like 10 years ago. I do love that tandem. Now, I've written about this for PressBox DFW, some hardcore stuff on that defensive line. Collins is great. Collins looks really, really good. Taco looks good right now. I like this Christian Covington. They do have some depth. Now, Lawrence, though, is still the only killer they have. He's still the only guy that's just going to, for sure, open things up and go after the quarterback.
Right.
That's why year after year we talk about Gregory. So it's still going to come down to somebody else besides Lawrence has to impact the quarterback. Now, that could be Collins up the middle. That could be, I love this Hyder guy from Tech.
Okay, you can't love 9 linemen. They're not going to play 9 linemen.
Correct. But now what although that I don't know, I might think about that alignment.
Mosley loves their entire 3 deep linemen. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, I just had the Baylor defensive coordinator on, Phil Snow. Oh, I'm going to save some of this for my PressBox DFW Baylor exclusive that I'm going to write this week because to counter the TCU stuff on our site. But my goodness, the takeaways, the only problem is he tells me 47 interceptions in fall camp. 47 interceptions. The only downside is, what are the quarterbacks doing? The Baylor quarterbacks are throwing all those INTs. But, hey, I am excited.
I can't tell.
About this Baylor defense.
Gil Leberton, please ask a question that doesn't involve Baylor.
The Texans, I bit the bullet and was there Saturday night. And I've seen lots of NFL exhibition games. And that, I got to say that performance by the Texans might have been one of the most disengaged representations of organized football that I've ever seen.
And that was dress rehearsal
They
week.
checked out in the middle of the first quarter, and they were non-existent. So my perception, I felt like after that I had to grade on a curve. And sure, Taco looked great, and Charlton, bravely got up off the floor and came back in the ball game twice. But man, I don't even know the guys that he was working against, and probably neither will Houston fans after Thursday. It's just I just think that last Saturday night was not a great judge of progress by some of these second teamers that the Cowboys are looking closely at. What do you think?
You know, I do agree with you to a certain extent. I don't think you can go crazy about this. I do think there's some depth that Cowboys fans can be excited about that really hasn't been there. They feel like they got so much depth on the O-line that they're kind of thinking they may have some trade bait on that O-line. Last year it was like, okay, how much depth do they have? Now people seem to have some interest in some of the folks, whether it be Redmond, some of these backup offensive linemen, Suafilo, guy I love hearing Nate. Joe here on the broadcast, Nate was trying to say Suafilo's name, and he couldn't do it.
He fell down the verbal staircase about 3 times.
I was embarrassed for the Texans. I'm embarrassed for Bill O'Brien just as a person because I think I think that Bill O'Brien is one of the when it comes to sort of dealing with people, all these guys try to act like Belichick, but they don't really have the skins on the wall that Belichick has. So they try to act like him and treat people like he does. And I just think there's some fraud. There's some fraud to Bill O'Brien. And I think the way he treated, now I admit this GM was a buddy of mine, but the way he treated that GM, Brian Gaine, he fired him after the draft. No warning. That was his hand-picked GM. He was the one who said go pick him. And then some guy from the Patriots came in. The Texans are an embarrassment. They have a chaplain. He's the most powerful chaplain in the history of the NFL. His name's Jack somebody. He literally is their chaplain.
Jack somebody.
Okay, wait, I want to hear how this is going. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And what's been his input?
He was the chaplain at New England. They called him the director of character development or something. But for all intents and purposes, he was the chaplain. I mean, and so in addition to leading Bible study, apparently the guy tells Bill O'Brien who he should fire. So they ran this GM out of there because Bill O'Brien is worried about losing his job, and so he's trying to scapegoat. Even before the season started, he's trying to scapegoat anybody he can. So I know, Gil, you weren't trying to walk into one of these kind of things that I just went into, but I just want to say the Houston Texans coach, and some people like him because he went to Penn State and he kind of helped turn that thing around. But I think that's one of the fraudulent guys walking around the NFL right now.
Wow.
And and I think
can't wait, Mosley. I can't wait to see your rankings next week of NFL chaplains. I want them ranked like 1 to 32.
I
thinking about it.
I used to be real close to the chaplain. He died, sadly.
I
Weber,
did too.
For the Cowboys, and John
Weber,
and I.
John Weber, yeah.
We had a great relationship, and he even let me. They were doing the you know who spoke when Tony made his debut as the starting quarterback, Romo, up in Carolina, and he threw at first they were down 14-0, and Witten came up to him and started shaking him like, you got to get a hold of yourself and all this. I was at the chaplain service before that game. Tony was there, Witten was there, and it was the night before, I guess, and the guest speaker was Frank Reich, now the head coach with the Colts.
Right.
But Weber had brought him in, the great John. I mean, and then Weber died.
I don't think those stories are related,
people.
but yeah, I get you. All right, real quick, before we let you go.
Let's give credit where credit's due. The guy's name was Jack Easterby, right? And he's now the Texans' vice president of team development.
Team development.
He went from chaplain to vice president of team development. Wow.
Well, Texans job seems like a logical landing place for Matt Rule.
Yeah, there you go. There's a Baylor tie-in.
I mean, this time next year, I think we'll
All
be talking
roads
about
lead to Waco.
Yeah. All right, Mosley, real quick. What's your take on Andrew Luck retiring, and the way the fans booed him off the field?
Well, that was bad, but I'm not going to get all caught up in that because that's a visceral reaction to they feel let down. So I'm not going to get on my soapbox and kill them. I mean, I'd like to think, if I were a huge fan of the team, like if Matt Rule was leaving to go to the Texans in the final game, I wouldn't be up there booing him. But I think it's just more of a statement on the NFL and football in general. Here's a guy should be the peak of his career, and he's so beaten down and beat up. He's not going to try to wait this thing out and come back from some kind of calf and ankle injury. He's done. And I think it's a scary thing for the NFL because it's a young guy, it's a smart guy, it's a great player walking away from no life-altering, life-ending. Now, he may have life-altering, limp the rest of his life. I don't know. But he's trying to preserve his brain and lifestyle. And in the Tom Brady's of the world, it's hard to relate to that.
Yeah.
But you know what you're seeing? You're seeing NFL players and come to his aid. And these NFL players and players from the NBA even, they are rushing to this guy's aid, and they support him in this. And that's a scary thing for Goodell. They're trying to – God, Moose is up there the other night just killing me. This is the safest game in the world.
Which is
it's so safe
total
for young people
BS.
to
We all know
play.
that's been proven over and over. Yeah.
Moose, what sport your kid playing? Oh yeah, right, lacrosse.
Yeah, exactly.
He plays lacrosse at Michigan. Now again, that's fine, but I don't want Moose up there telling us how it's great for little kids to play tackle football.
No, we know
Come
better.
on, Moose.
All right, Mosey, real quick, plug your radio show again, then we got to get up on out of here. Go ahead.
Okay, the Doomsday Podcast, that's my podcast. That thing is really exploding because Ed's gone back to ESPN and Ed's not tweeting as much, thank God. And then the other thing is, this is ESPN Central Texas. If you want to listen in Dallas, you just do the radio TuneIn app and search ESPN Central Texas.
Got it.
Our streaming numbers are bigger than 103.3s.
All right. That's probably because of you. Your people have followed you, Mosley. All right, we love you, man. I look forward to your chaplain rankings next week.
All right, love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
There
Boy,
goes
John,
Matt Mosley.
I love
Okay, Mark.
John.
See you, Mark.
Yeah, see you, Mark. See you, Mark Mosley.
John Henry is
All right.
a hell of a writer.
Yep,
I'll
gotta
see
go.
you guys.
Good Lord. Who's worse, him or Hanson? Literally, who's worse?
Well, I think we know the answer.
Better, but worse. All right, real quick, let's get into where we're going to be, Gil, this week. We're going to be out and about at the TCU game, tailgating, right?
Yes, we are. Saturday night, the Horned Frogs open their season against Arkansas Pine Bluff, game time 7 p.m. But we will gather at 2 p.m. Right around here where the picture is showing. Those of you who can't see it, the good people at the tailgate guys, Cody Nelson and his bunch, their business is providing a complete, well, not a complete, but 99% complete tailgate setup for you at various sports venues around this country. And one of them is TCU. And they provide just what you see there. They provide the tent, and we'll have one Saturday afternoon. It's about a 10 by 10 tent. It's got tables, chairs. We'll have beverages for people.
You even promised us a TV.
Yeah, Dish Network. They'll have a TV where we'll be able to watch ball games in progress. And it all starts 5 hours before the game on Saturday. We invite you to please come by and say hello and talk to us.
And bring some shade.
Yeah, we'll have shade.
We have shade? Okay.
We're right on that location, right where you see there.
Perfect.
We're right in front of Schollmeyer Arena. We're right along the road there that leads directly toward the football stadium,
Perfect.
that little drive there. And should we go ahead and say it now? If you don't have tickets for the game,
Oh, yeah.
we are giving away to 4 lucky fans a pair of tickets to Saturday night's game. Send me an email, glebreton@pressboxdfw.com. send me an email. Be sure to put the word tailgating in the subject line, and we will choose 4 lucky fans at random, and they'll win the free tickets to Saturday night's game. The catch is you've got to pick them up in person at our tailgate site before the ball game.
All right, that's
and we
2
want to
o'clock.
see you anyway. We want to meet
Absolutely.
you and see you
Yeah,
anyway.
come on out, shake hands, kiss babies, and
Everybody's
make friends.
invited.
PressBox DFW tailgating at Saturday's TCU game, 2 o'clock out in the parking lot. All right, next up, let's get to the pregame meal. America's pastime hits home, Gil's home.
Today's pregame meal brought to you by the tailgate guys that we just talked about, and for your one-stop turnkey tailgating needs, be sure to go to their website, tailgateguys.com. One word, tailgate guys, and you can, whether you want to do it at a TCU game, I think they have a Cowboys package, and they will provide the tent and the site. And you need to, and believe me, it's much more reasonably priced than you would think. They got a great deal going, and they'll drop off your beverages for you. I mean, be sure to talk to Cody Nelson and the people right there at the tailgate guys. Okay, I had a very personal, visceral experience over the last couple of weeks, and it had to do with this Little League team from River Ridge, Louisiana. River Ridge, or as we more or less knew it when I was growing up, Harahan, Louisiana, which we always considered a suburb of my suburb, which was Jefferson, Louisiana. And we were right at the edge of the Orleans-Jefferson parish lines there. Back when I played, way back, we had about the only Little League team around. The closest Little League to us was in Lafayette, Louisiana, and then it was a league in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And
kind of a new concept, the Little League in those days, right?
Right. Well, no, it wasn't so much a new concept. It had been around, and there were they had small leagues, and that's right, they had small leagues in little country places down there, the so-called bayou parishes, and we would go and play in places like the All-Star team would go and play in places like Jeanerette, Franklin, Houma, Thibodaux. But then the league, as all our guys got older, it died off. And I hadn't heard anything about any Little League baseball in Louisiana.
You played. What was your position?
I was an outfielder and a pitcher.
Okay.
I was a left-handed pitcher, and I always considered pitching everybody was saying, "Gee, you must have been a heck of a hitter," whatever. I'm going, no, I was much better at pitching than I was
Now,
at
are you
anything
still
else.
left-handed today?
I'm still left-handed, right?
I did not know that.
Right. I had no concept of the strike zone back then, which is a bad thing in a pitcher, but
that's probably
I
not
lasted until high school, and that was about it. Anyway, so I turned on the TV a couple of weeks ago, and it's the Southwest region of Little League.
How could you miss Little League? Every time I've turned on ESPN for the last month, there's been
some
Little
there've been
League game on.
regionals, and then
It used to be just the finals when we were kids.
on
It was
ABC
really cool.
Wide World of Sports
Yes,
on Saturday.
it was a
That
deal,
was
and
it.
now it's like, here's the qualifying to get into the 128 team tournament. It's too much,
College World
even though
Series.
this is a fascinating
Well,
story.
it's a slow time of the year, and
That's
there's
true.
nothing else. There's nothing else on, and I see these light blue uniforms, and it says Louisiana on it. Well, it says East Bank on it, and I'm saying, wait a minute, that's us. That's what we were. We were East Bank back before there was River Ridge even existed. And sure enough, they wore light blue trim uniforms, just like our All-Star team did. And so I started digging around a little bit to find out who they were, and turns out they were pretty darn good. And for the first time in forever, they were able to beat the mighty Texas juggernaut in the regional, and went on to Williamsport for the first time. And of course, everybody probably knows now, like Richie said, it was all over the TV. They won not only the U.S. championship on Saturday, but they came back on Sunday, and they won the world championship, beating Curacao. And an amazing group of guys. Here's Reese Roussel. This kid has a swing that there are major leaguers that wish they had this pretty of a swing.
I can't believe they're
This
10 to
kid
12
rakes.
years old.
Well, actually, this year Little League did something. They changed the effective date for the 12-year-old age limit so that no 13-year-olds would show up in the tournament. You used to have there used to be guys that would turn 13 during the season,
Yes.
and they would still let them play. Well, this year they were all 12s, so you didn't have this 13-year-old who was past puberty would show up on the pitcher's mound and just dominate the whole tournament. What a swing that is.
Yeah.
That kid's 12. And he got 17 hits or something in a tournament, set a record. He's a great kid. His dad was interviewed often in the stands during the games, and just a lot of fun. And I loved watching it. It brought back a lot of memories of.
So it felt kind of like your team.
Oh, definitely did. It felt like my team. Our league doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
I mean, it's dust. I think it's a warehouse where we used to play now, it just brought back a lot of memories, including the kind of the racist origin of the league that I played in. We played in Little League at a time when the Little League integrated. And we stayed in Little League, but all the local playgrounds and recreation departments started something called Dixie Youth Baseball, which had in its charter, in its constitution, that they were going to be all white, and the logo actually had the Confederate flag on it. And I think Dixie Youth Baseball exists to this day. Now, they removed the illegal offensive language.
Right.
And in fact, I think even Michael Jordan, when he was a kid, played in Dixie Baseball. But we stayed Little League, and that's why the number of Little Leagues suddenly dropped off throughout Louisiana. But it just brought back a whole bunch of memories, and I remembered things like where we played, and I remember my Uncle Buck buying me a glazed donut after I pitched a good game, and it brings back a lot of memories of when you're a kid. The memory. If most guys will tell you that the memories of you playing kid ball are among the most intense and enduring.
When I was a kid, that's all we did. I mean, the Cowboys were, just getting to town. The Rangers weren't even there yet. The Mavericks
Didn't I see a
weren't
photo
there yet.
of you with your Rangers?
We're going to get to that.
jersey?
So,
okay.
you can throw it up there, Zig, if you want. So, this was probably me. So, think of that kid swing, and then think about this kid trying to have that same swing. I'm probably a little bit younger than 10 or 12, but that was I played for the Red Sox, but I was wearing a Rangers cap that was way
there's a
too
lot
big.
of
And,
mixed
this
media.
was 1972.
But I
So
love
you
those.
identified
I love
as
the
a-
socks.
I was 8 years old.
I love the socks.
But the coolest thing was, in our league, if you hit a home run, you got a free hamburger at Bonanza. And that was like life-changing experience. You
Sure.
get to walk in with your little certificate
Yeah.
to Bonanza and say you hit a home run. Did you play Little League sports?
I did. Oh yeah, I played for University Little League in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They had a University Little League.
which is I think still reputed as one of the better.
It's still there?
Oh yeah,
Okay, that and Southwest are the two big Little Leagues in.
yeah. Well, it used to be Blue Raider on
Okay,
next
Blue
door
Raider.
to South
Forgot
Lake.
about.
And now
Yeah, but I
it's-
thought
or
Blue
Southwest.
Raider went over to Pony League.
They did what?
They went over to they started playing pony baseball. it's
Yeah,
called.
but University
Because we played Blue Raider when my son was playing.
Oh,
anyway,
did you in Pony League?
Anyway, Arlington has a vibrant Little
Oh,
League
yeah.
chapter. Hunter Pence played on the Arlington.
Yeah, they did.
Right.
Southwest Little League was
Yeah.
they were big when I was.
That was good
playing
teams.
in-
If we
in
weren't
Little-
playing baseball, we were playing wiffle ball. We weren't playing wiffle ball, we were playing cup ball. It was some sort of baseball in the summer. That was a really good memory for you.
But that's my memory bank for the week. A lot of fond memories, and congratulations to the guys. They were honored yesterday at a reception. They went straight from the airport there. And
That's
the
pretty
Saints
cool.
were there, and
Oh, yeah?
Drew
Wow.
Brees greeted them, and,
Very cool.
and Sean Payton, and
Surprised you weren't there.
I tried, but
Leading the
I'm
parade.
I'm gonna go when they actually have the parade for the guys
There you
during
go.
Mardi Gras
Right on a
season.
float.
I'm sure.
All right, next up.
PressBox DFW float.
Yeah,
right.
there you
We'll
go.
do
Let's
that.
sponsor
I'll
a
do
float
that.
in the Little League parade.
I'll do
It'd be
that.
perfect
Go
for
East
us.
Bank.
Next up in Double Dribble, sports and luck in the world of Bizarro.
Right quick, do you guys remember where you were on August the 27th, 1990?
Cowboys
It was
training
hot.
camp. There's no doubt that's where I was.
Stevie Ray Vaughan died on that day, 29 years ago today. Doesn't seem like
Sad.
that long. Okay, Andrew Luck retired. Seemed
Sad.
Seemed
You're
very
just going to make
bizarre.
sad statements all in Double Dribble?
Well, tattoo is in rehab now. He's not.
Well,
here,
yeah,
so
what happened to him?
He's mending.
mending.
He's actually
ceramics
down there.
project for somebody.
So anyway, a lot of people are calling this Andrew Luck retirement story the most bizarre story in maybe sports history. I don't know, but a pretty odd one for sure.
Yeah, it's very odd.
So I went back to look, and I didn't even think it was the most bizarre story in the last 10 years.
It was surprising. But
It was
wasn't
surprising.
bizarre. Right.
I have a few
bizarre.
off at my disposal here, and the first one. Do we remember Brian Colangelo and the burner account?
That was just a couple years ago.
It was, and that was bizarre. And it turned out that it was his
It was
wife
his wife
running
the
it.
whole time. Yeah.
It cost him his job
Sure.
ultimately. Yeah, his wife had like 5 accounts, and she was,
Yep.
Had all sorts of hot sports opinions on there about that.
And in short, he was the GM that was trying to win negotiations with players by putting out
Right.
false statements or accurate but damaging statements to the player. Like, he can't dribble to his left. Here's the stats to prove it. And his wife was topping him during the contract negotiations. Kind of genius, but yeah, fired.
We all remember about that same time when Monte Teo was inspired
Oh, yeah.
to great
It's a great what?
to these
What's the
marvelous
word?
pursuits at Notre Dame.
He got, what's the word? He got catfish.
He got a
Catfish is what they
absolutely.
called
Got
that,
hoodwinked
yeah.
back in the day.
So yeah, he had this fake girlfriend that
Dying girlfriend or dead girlfriend.
She
Yeah,
she
she
passed
died.
away, and he was like, I was inspired to these 12 tackles and 3 interceptions
Yeah.
by my dead girlfriend.
yeah, who
That's
never
a
existed.
bizarre story. Never existed.
Never existed, and somebody pulled a prank on him.
He'll never live that down. I mean, he's
The
a
internet's
decent
so
player.
evil.
He's a decent player in the NFL now, but every time you see him, you go, "Oh yeah, fake girlfriend."
Yeah.
No matter what he does.
And then, sadly, his grandmother died about the same time. Really died about the
Yeah.
same time.
Real
Okay.
grandmother, real death.
Last year. I don't know why that's funny.
The grandmother. Go on.
Because you're
moving
dark.
on,
That's
moving
why.
on, moving on.
Go ahead.
It's because you play with bobbleheads. You're just a dark dude.
Last year, Vontae Davis retires at halftime.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Absolutely.
He said, "To hell with this."
Yeah.
He told his defensive backs coach, he says, "I'm done." So they're walking
At halftime.
Yeah.
I've always wondered if he went straight to his car and drove home in his uniform.
Didn't even bother to take it off.
Right. I mean, why would you bother taking it off and showering? I mean,
I'm sure they said, "Get out of here. You're not going to play." Anyway, he was interviewed recently. He says he doesn't regret that decision.
Right,
Not yet,
right.
anyway.
Yeah.
Said I was.
By the way, I think
Tired of being
Landry Luck will come back.
I think he probably will too.
I don't.
You think he's done?
Oh, I think he's done.
All right. I'll bet
Because
you.
the rehab. I mean, you know,
come on with the rehab. We'll get to that with
the physical therapy part. I mean,
I
Okay.
can tell you one guy who's
Okay.
not coming back.
Who?
That's Aaron Hernandez.
Ooh, don't you be
golly, just when you think we can't get any darker.
double dark drivel today.
Well, he's not.
No, I mean it's an accurate statement. There's no
Yeah, this was
And he commits murder in the prime of his career.
Yes.
Now,
Right.
how bizarre is that?
his old buds from the
Yeah.
Connecticut neighborhood.
And he ultimately handled his prison sentence his own way and
Yes, he did.
Ended it his own way.
ended it his own way. Committed
Very
suicide.
bizarre.
Okay, the story I want to get to about bizarre sports stories in the last 10 years is a guy named James Nielsen, the record setter in the beer mile run. Have you guys heard of this before?
I don't know what the beer mile run is now.
So what the beer mile run is you start by slamming a beer
So far,
on a
man.
track,
Okay.
run a lap,
Okay.
another beer slammed, run a lap, another beer, run a lap. James Nielsen broke the 5-minute barrier on the beer mile run. He did it in 4:57.
That's pretty impressive.
And here he comes.
So running a 5-minute mile is extremely doable, but with 4 bellyfuls of beer is
Yeah.
Man, a 5-minute miles hoofing it
That's
pretty
hoofing
good.
yeah,
it
no,
really
it's
good.
doable, but yeah.
Now he
Who shot this? Was this you?
No,
Did you shoot this
it's
footage?
not.
Like
Now you can see
yesterday?
the beer in the foreground here on a table.
He didn't have a lot of overhead
way
costs,
station.
did he?
Good.
And-
He brought out his own coffee.
That's great.
I think it's his
ready.
wife or girlfriend, or whatever. Now, this guy was a college long distance runner.
I was about to say, he looks like he's run.
So he's got, some background
and he likes his beer.
loves his beer. He's called the ultimate nerd. He studied the relationship between running and the beer and the
Gotcha.
carbon intake and all this stuff. But
No, he's moving pretty good.
he is.
But I'm interested to see. I didn't need to see him go around the whole track, but I'm interested to see his transition.
So the
whether
Yeah,
he's
we got to
gonna
see
stop
we
or
got to
not.
see
And
the
this-
passing the baton.
And there are
here.
rules to this. And according to the rules, he's got to drink this beer within 10 meters of the start finish.
Oh,
Yeah, I was never. Okay, that was
Oh.
impressive.
And he littered. No, he
No,
hit,
he
he hit
littered
the
right in the
can.
trash
Okay.
can.
Throw it in the trash can.
Okay, well, I would be.
This is a
I'd
record.
I'd have a better chance at running a 5-minute mile than I would chugging a beer that fast. I've never been a beer chugger. You?
Yeah.
No.
Could you slam a beer that fast?
Oh, not anymore. But yeah, I used to have that skill. But that skill set
Life
was
skill.
Skill.
Now the thing is, there is one.
Should we have a PressBox DFW
Yeah,
to mimic that? All three of us would try to do that.
Sure.
Our times will be like
Sure.
2 hours and 12 minutes.
now if you vomit,
Oh,
you got to take an
well.
extra
Who's
lap.
making the rules up? His wife? Him and his wife?
There's
rules.
there's beer rules. There's beer rules.
I mean, that didn't look like it was sanctioned by any governing body. It just looked like him and his wife with a TV tray
I
and
s-
a couple of beers. That didn't. I might not even have been a beer. It could have just been water.
Beer mile rules. It's right here. Each competitor drink. It tells you. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. All right. But you know what though? I will give you credit.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is absolutely
It's
bizarre.
got its own website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Its own website. Look at
And a
us.
logo.
We have our own
And
website and our own logo.
And number
too.
10 is if you get sick, you got to take a penalty lap.
Penalty lap.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
anyway,
that's
we gotta
something
go.
we're probably not going to be doing, but that is bizarre. All right, next up, let's get into Wits End. Sorry, Aggies, the joke, it's still on you. I will not chug a beer or run a mile during today's Wits End, but I will remind you to
guts.
go read my no guts, exactly. To go read my Cowboys 60 moment story. I'll put that up there in a minute, Ziggy. We'll get the Cowboys story. Sorry, I got you out of order. I did the Cowboys. There it is. The Cowboys' best 60 moments in their history because this is their 60th season. It was a 5-part series last week. Go read that.
Read them all.
Yeah, read every one of them.
Yeah,
And then
well
I will
received, dude.
give A&M this before I get to rip on them. We do have legitimate A&M reporting on PressBox DFW about Wendell Barnhouse, right? He was
right.
down there and kind of dumped his thoughts and things from his maroon notepad. So if you're an Aggies fan, I know we have a lot of Aggies readers who are on my case, but what we're about to talk about. But we do cover the Aggies. Like we have a quote-unquote Aggies beat writer, which I don't think the local papers even have anymore.
Well, Wendell's not Aggies solely. He's going to do that in the other school.
But he will cover the Aggies.
Yeah.
Yes,
he will,
on
he
a
will
regular
keep
basis.
He'll keep us abreast of what's going on.
Absolutely. And then there's a guy like me who will just pick a fight with the Aggies because I still don't think A&M should have left the Big 12. And I wrote a column this week, kind of littered with Aggie jokes.
Oh, nice picture.
It's a great picture. You talking about my mugshot or the Aggies?
Oh, not,
okay,
not you
thanks.
talking about.
So I originally wrote this for the Dallas Observer back in 2011 when the Aggies left for the SEC, and I thought, what are they doing? They're going to suck, and they're going to get their shaved heads handed to them by the SEC. And lo and behold, the first year, here comes Johnny Football. Takes the nation by storm. He wins the Heisman. They beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. They go 11-2. They win the Cotton Bowl. They're number 5. A lot of A&M fans say we're the best team in the nation, even though
Lost to Florida
Lost to
and
Florida.
LSU
Don't worry
at
about
home.
that. But you heard that. The Aggies fans thought they were national champions that year.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I, of course, after writing what I wrote, was absolutely tortured on social media. Aggies fans made a crow-eating media tour, and they would pinpoint writers who said they shouldn't go to the Big 12, and they would basically sick
go to
their
SEC.
following on it to go to the SEC. And I got flooded with emails and on social media, on Twitter, I mean, everywhere, just like, and there was pictures of me like with a dead crow in my mouth, the whole thing. And I said, all right, you know what? You did have a good year, but let's stay tuned. And now I think it's time to not stay tuned because the Aggies are what we thought they were going to be, at least most of us, in the SEC, and that's just they're Southern fried fodder for the big boys. They are, in 7 seasons, they're 30-26 in the SEC. Since Johnny Football left, they are 24-24 in the SEC, and they've never finished higher than 16th in a season-ending poll. So to me, Gil, they are an afterthought. They haven't even sniffed a division championship, much less played in the title game or won a conference. And this is what Arkansas learned when they went to SEC. They went 27 years ago instead of won an SEC title. The SEC is a badass conference. You don't just go in there and have success. But when I wrote this week, the main pushback I got from Aggies fans was, oh yeah, we'd rather lose in the SEC to the big boys than win in the watered down Big 12. And to me, that's just nonsensical. But that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, they basically said they'd rather go to Starkville than Fort Worth.
Right. I mean, is that a reason to change conference?
No, it wasn't.
Have you ever heard such?
No. Well, no. No.
Want to think about it again?
There are some things more important to them than winning and losing.
How? Okay, that is an Aggie joke in itself, right?
And that is sticking it to Texas.
But they left. They can't stick it to Texas because they left. Then what?
And they're also doing quite well financially.
But does that, okay, you're right, and I get that. The royalty check from the SEC is bigger than what they get from the Big 12. I get that. But if you're just a rank and file A&M fan who's watching on Saturday from your couch, do you go,
how fun is it to get your ass beat?
Florida's beating us 42-7, but we got more money? I mean, does that can't matter, can it?
That wasn't the point. They needed to break from they were being dominated financially and I don't know, in the news media by the presence of Texas.
The Longhorn Network was coming.
The Longhorn Network, and Texas was being very much a bully at the time. And they were always going to be second fiddle to Texas. And because of that, they wanted to go to a place where they thought they were going to be on equal footing, at least from a a perception standpoint.
Yeah,
but they're not. Now they're ninth fiddle, right?
I don't know. They're respected over there. I dare say I do. I think they're more respected in the SEC West than they would be as an 8-4 team in the Big 12.
And College Station is Manhattan, New York, compared to some of those joints on the SEC.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I've been to those SEC joints. All right, they're better than Starkville, but Oxford's a nice place, and certainly
I don't know. A&M this year, they're ranked 12th in the initial AP poll, and that's great. They have an experienced team coming back. Kellen Mond's their quarterback. Yada yada yada. They play Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, and LSU. That's 4 losses. They're not going to snip the division or the conference, and the fans are going to be, that's okay, because we have a tough schedule. I just don't get it, but Aggies fans, let me have it again. I'll take it.
But the head coach has a lifetime contract.
And a trophy with an open date on it. That's how Aggie they are.
It's funny. The Aggies always think that they're just one season away.
A lot of teams think that, to be fair.
Well, but of course they think that since they have plenty of money themselves, they think that they can buy their way to this national championship and certainly get the trophy made. And the fact of the matter is, the head coach that they hired, and granted, my alma mater almost hired him 2 years before. The head coach, there's a lot of Florida State fans that sighed with relief when he left. And here, the Aggies made him,
they
wealthiest coach.
Greatly for Jimbo Fisher.
Totally over.
All right, Aggies fans, let me hear it and read my story at PressBoxDFW.com. The Aggie joke still on you. Next up, we're having a little meet and greet on Saturday. We'll tell you when and where next. All right, so Saturday, it's the college football starts. TCU is a 52-point favorite over Arkansas Pine Bluff. I think you knew them as the Golden Lions. Is that right?
That's their name.
Somehow you knew that. We're going to be out there tailgating. Where are we going to be, and what's the thing?
We'll be at tent number 22 on the lawn outside of pretty much about where this picture's coming from. And we'll be in a white tent. We're not allowed any personal signage. Nobody is. But we'll have our name on the front of the tent. You'll see PressBox DFW. And we'll be there starting at 2 o'clock. I'm sure you'll recognize me, John, Richie, Who knows who'll be there?
Matt Mosey
We'll-
might be there in his sunglasses.
We'll try to
You never know.
we'll try to have the repaired tattoo bobblehead out there.
We got to bring bobbleheads,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I might even bring Hank out of retirement.
Right.
And if you'd like to get a ticket, if you don't have tickets, send me an email, glebreton@pressboxdfw.com. Be sure to put tailgate in the subject line, and we'll pick 4 lucky people.
4 tickets given away to TCU games.
Actually, 8
Saturday.
tickets.
Oh, 8 tickets. My
4
bad.
fans, 2
Gotcha.
tickets apiece.
4 pairs of
very
tickets.
good.
My
yeah,
bad.
it's 4 pairs of tickets.
Look at us living it up. All right, so we'll see you guys Saturday out at Amon Carter Stadium for TCU and Arkansas Pine Bluff. For John Henry, for Gil Leberton, I'm Richie Witt. We'll see you guys Saturday at the tailgate, and we'll see you in the press box.